My coworker kept stealing my lunch, so I brought in a meal she couldn't resist paired, and now she won't look me in the eye for months. Someone had been taking my lunch from the office refrigerator, not every day, but often enough that I'd started keeping granola bars in my desk drawer as backup. It wasn't just annoying parent, it was expensive. I am a nurse working 12-hour shifts at a busy hospital, and my specially prepared meals help me manage my chronic migraines, skip a meal, or eat the wrong thing, and I am fighting through blinding pain while trying to care for patients. I mentioned it to my supervisor twice. Both times, she sent a generic email about respecting others' property that everyone ignored. I even labeled my containers with property of is apparent ambical necessity in bright red marker. Still, my food disappeared. Then I noticed a pattern. My lunch only vanished on days when Vanessa, a hospital administrator, was working in our wing. I'd never had issues with her before. In fact, she was always overly friendly, complimenting my outfits and asking about my weekend plans while never sharing anything about herself. One Monday, I watched from the nurse's station as Vanessa casually entered the break room when no one was around. 5 minutes later, my labeled container was gone and she was eating at her desk. Mystery solved, but confronting her directly would just lead to denial and workplace drama. I needed proof, parrot, and maybe a little justice. My cousin is a chef who specializes in Silja Asian cuisine. When I explained my situation, he smiled wickedly and prepared a special lunch for me. Innocent-looking chicken curry that contained the perfect blend of ghost peppers and Carolina Reapers, disguised by sweet coconut milk. It looked and smelled delicious, but one bite would feel like swallowing molten lava. I brought it in a glass container with my usual red labeled warning, placed it in the refrigerator, and waited at my station with a perfect view of the break room. Sure enough, at 11:30, Vanessa casually strolled in when the room was empty. Through the glass walls, I watched her check my container, open it, and take a deep appreciative sniff. She transferred a generous portion to her own bowl, returned my container to the fridge, at least she was considerate that way, and headed back to her desk. The first bite happened just as she reached her office. She froze mid-step, then frantically grabbed her water bottle. The second and third gulps of water only made it worse. Pawned her rookie mistake with capsaicin. Her face turned the color of a fire engine as she desperately fanned her mouth. I approached her desk with a glass of milk. Spicy food can be tricky, I said calmly. Her watering eyes widened in horror as she realized I knew exactly what she'd done. She grabbed the milk without a word. That was my lunch you are eating, I continued, my voice pleasant but firm. The one clearly labeled with my name. The one I specifically prepared to manage a medical condition. She couldn't speak, just nodded frantically while gulping milk. I am curious, Pant, you make twice what I do. Why steal my food instead of bringing your own? After recovering enough to speak, she stammered that she never had time to meal prep and my food always smelled so good. Then she admitted the truth. She'd been taking lunches from different staff members for months, assuming in a hospital this size, no one would connect the dots. I am not going to report you, I said, but this stops today. She nodded, tears still streaming down her face, parent from the peppers or embarrassment. I couldn't tell. The next day, I found a gift card for $200 to a local grocery store in my locker with a note of apology. My lunch remained untouched in the refrigerator. In fact, it's been 3 weeks, and nobody's lunch has gone missing. Vanessa still can't quite look me in the eye. Every time she sees me approaching the break room, she suddenly remembers an urgent call she needs to make. Sometimes justice is best served at 2.2 million Scoville units.